You want to post something? You want to comment somewhere right quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, welcome, and it is Friday at a little bit after 5:30. We went ahead and did something a little different as every week. We love having challenges with this. So we're deciding to go ahead and record this and then post it on the replay on the GBO Bodcast page. So you'll see it in a couple of different places, probably on my page, on Cruz's page, and also on the GBO Bodcast page, as we will be broadcasting this out and making sure that you guys are able to get the content that you guys have been asking for. So we do have special guest, Ryan Pichon. He is out of New Orleans. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you're one of the very few people that got it right.
We say Pichon. So it sounds a little French. Is it French?
Yeah. It's French.
Very cool. Well, Ryan is fairly new to GBO, and he really made his stake. He's not new to the bodybuilding game, but he is definitely new to our stage when being less than a year old. And he really has a great story as far as how he came about, first of all, just in his competition, his fitness, and getting ready for his to earn his pro card this year, and he'll be making his pro debut this year. So, Ryan, if we can dig in a little bit, a lot of people want to know about you, really, what your story is living in New Orleans and coming from New Orleans. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, coming from New Orleans, living in New Orleans, bodybuilding's not really that big. Well, it wasn't really that big growing up. So obviously I got into it as I got older. More of a music and a food town. So it's like real hard to stay in shape in New Orleans because they got like anything you can possibly think of to eat. So it's a challenge, but I'm always up for a challenge. And I plan on bringing like a lot of the sport to the city, more of the sport to the city.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, Matthew. I was, like I said off the air a while ago, dude. I lived there for like 4 or 5 years, and finding a gym is like, there's just not like world gyms and all that. There's just nothing there. You got to find a hole in the wall if you can even find that. So yeah. It's pretty difficult. And then you look around and you realize, okay, yeah, this is New Orleans. Ain't too many people working out here. So,
well, where do you train right now, Ryan?
Oh, I train at the Mecca of the South, Valhalla Training Grounds. I got my GBO shirt on today, but I should have had my Valhalla shirt on.
Yeah, good.
Well, Valhalla is very well known, so that's for sure. And when did you start officially weight training? Were you athletic, or did you play sports in high school?
No, see, that's the kicker for a lot of people that, met me once I got on my fitness journey. I actually was fat. I wasn't big as a kid, but I still wasn't athletic. After Katrina, I put on a lot of weight. I was up to 320 pounds.
Wow.
And I started just a weight loss journey one day at a time. I was working actually at Coca-Cola and injured my knee. And the doctor was telling me, like, basically a horror story. I'd be walking with a cane by 30. I wouldn't be able to run. The cartilage was gone out of my right knee. I had the knee of a 60-year-old. So it was on me to change it. And one of the first orders of business was I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating meat June 1st, 2014.
Really?
And yeah, after that, it was, I said I was going to do it for 7 days. I did those 7 days. I said I was going to go 14. 14 turned to 21 after the 21st day. I didn't have a craving for them. I'm pescatarian, though, so I do eat fish, selected fish, shrimp here and there, but no beef, no chicken, no turkey, no pork. So June 1st this year made 6 years.
Wow. So essentially fish is your only source of protein, or it sounds like one of the main proteins.
Yeah.
What are some of your other sources of protein that you take in to keep your muscle?
Ghost has a great vegan protein that I get from GNC.
Uh-huh.
So I substitute, with that as well. But for the most part, it's like whitefish, either pollock, cod, haddock, or I do salmon maybe like once or twice a week on my leg days. So
Wow. So run us through a typical week. I know that you're in prep right now. We're going to talk a little bit about your we're going to talk about when you earned your pro status, and run us through a typical prep week for you. Are you doing cardio like crazy? Are you doing 3 a days, 2 a days, 1 a day, or maybe one every other day?
Yeah, well, I personally train full time, so I get up at 2:50 every morning. My first client comes at 5 o'clock. So from 4 to 5, I'm doing my cardio, and after that, train some of my people. If I have like a 30 to 45 minute pocket, I get on the bike and do a little more, or come in. We got like the best posing room. That's where I'm at right now. So I go in there, go over some poses. You stay ready, so you never have to get ready. So it's either cardio and posing 2 to 3 times a day. My lift sessions go from maybe hour and a half to 2 hours, 6 days a week. So
Wow.
can't let
So
off the gas.
you mentioned something just now that I've heard a lot, which is you stay ready. It sounds like year round. You don't go off and binge and then come back and do a 16-week prep. So at any given time, if you're not in prep, how close are you to a show? Can you stay 4 to 6 weeks out?
Yeah, I could 6 weeks most definitely. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, okay, so let's back it up here. We're going to rewind. We are at the beginning of the year. When did you make the decision you wanted to do the Las Vegas show and go for your pro card?
Okay, crazy thing, and I'm getting chill bumps thinking about it because I said this at the show, and I was trying not to cry. Last year, I started following you guys like springtime, and I started talking to Matt Porter, and I remember I had just did a show. Well, I was getting ready for a show September last year, and the night of that show, I contacted Matt Porter, and I was like, man,
Chris Porter?
Chris, why am I saying Matt Porter?
We're just melding two people in. It's on there.
Yeah, okay.
Chris Porter. How can I? Dude, forgive me. You know what I meant. But yeah, he probably like, man, who is Matt Porter?
Right.
Chris Porter.
There actually is a Matt Porter prep coach, so that's why
Right,
I
yeah.
didn't want to say anything.
And you know what's crazy? Lord rest his soul, because Matt Porter passed.
Mm-hmm.
I ordered my Vaso from his family. But
Yeah.
so yeah, rest in peace to Chris and Matt. They both probably looking down like, look at this idiot. But now Chris Porter. So I talked to Chris, and he was like, yeah, man, well, I can't wait to see you on stage. I'm like, well, listen, the first show the GBO has of the year, I'm there. And he told me about the Vegas Royal Flush. So I'm like, well, I told my team, I'm like, I'm basically not gonna have no off season. Starting that Saturday night, I was like, starting that Monday, I'm back on prep for the February show.
Yeah.
And we just cruised right into it. Came in, it was so like surreal after I got on stage, and I'm just thinking about Chris. And before I came out, when they like announced the awards and stuff, I still have the text message from our thread on Instagram. I screenshot it, and I was just reading it, and I'm like, man, don't cry, just go out there, and But it was so nostalgic, and it felt good to keep my word. And I hope I made him proud.
Yeah, no doubt.
So you get to Vegas, you're ready, you've got a team there with you. How many people came to watch you?
It was my cousin, which is one of my workout partners, and 3 of the other guys. Really, my entire workout crew and my sister. So it was 5 people, and it was like the loudest people in the back.
I remember you coming in to the athletes meeting, and you're putting your feet up. You're in your suit, your track suit, so nobody can see you, of course.
Yeah.
And you get on stage. Tell us about some of the feelings that you're experiencing, knowing that you have a really good shot at earning your pro status. Because, like Cruz was saying, you pulled an amazing vacuum. You've got an amazing vacuum. You've got great lines. You've got classic lines. And, what were was that your first time that you were really nervous on stage, or did you just say, nope, I got this?
No, I love getting on the stage. I get jitters. I get pregame jitters backstage. But once I walk out and get on that square, it's just me and the stage. Everybody else disappears. So, me, the stage and the lights. I'm just looking at the lights, and I just go for what I know.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you earn your pro status. What was the feeling when you were announced as the winner?
It was surreal. It didn't really sink in until we was at dinner that evening.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, once my cousin leaned my rain case over and opened it up and was like, man, you know what you just did? And I'm like, what? Are you serious? I was still dehydrated and I ain't really know what's going on. But yeah, once it set in, I dropped a few tears and I was real grateful and honored to be part of the organization as a whole.
Awesome. So you leave Vegas, you now have your pro status. You're looking at your pro debut. You're looking at 2020 for the rest of the year. What is your schedule like? Because you have a couple of things that are coming up. Tell us about what some of your plans are for the rest of 2020.
Basically, to be all the way honest, before they canceled the Atlas, I was going to do the Storm Classic and the Atlas back to back. That was the plan.
Got it.
But I'm going to guest pose at Louisiana Champions in Sulphur, and then going to win the Storm Classic.
Got it. So you're going to be going up against some pretty heavy hitters. Yeah.
Tell them GBO, my bad.
We didn't mean to get him all emotional this fast.
No. Sean was knocking at the door. I had to open it up for the boss.
Tell Sean to wait, man. Tell Sean to wait.
I can't tell him to wait.
Sure you can. You're in his office. It's okay. There he is, right there. I see him in the mirror.
I should have did this in his office.
You're in the posing room? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm in the posing room.
I got you. All right.
So you've got guest posing coming up October 3rd at the West Cal, and then you've got your pro debut. What is really driving you to compete right now? I know that you've had some really supportive family, and you've had your family there in Vegas, and I know you'll probably have some family in Texas City. What's really your motivation at this point?
Well, it was kind of self-motivated at first because I'm still like that fat guy on the inside. So it's like, the fat me on the inside cheering me on. But as of this past Sunday, it's a whole different motive. I think, I don't really like put my personal life online, but I told you guys I open up to you. So my dad, he has stage 4 cancer right now. So I try to spend as much time with him as possible. And we don't really talk about bodybuilding that much, but as of lately, he's been asking me a lot about it since Vegas. And he was like, well, he asked me about it Sunday. I said, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna win. He was like, well, no, tell me more about it. So I'm telling him, the motions and everything. And he was like, well, look, if you don't go and win for nobody else, go win for me. And that was like the game changer. From that point on, it was like, I came in Monday morning and it was like tunnel vision. I was in here like 3:45, getting 15 extra minutes on the cardio and stuff like that. I'm like, I gotta get it. So when I go over there and talk with him and just hang out with him like every other day. And he always checking up on me. So he's like, well, where your meal prep containers at? What you eating? He making sure he on top of me. If I'm not there, he texting me. Let me see what you eating and stuff like that. So if not, nothing else, I'm doing it for Pops. So that's the motivation for it.
That's absolutely amazing. And, I think a lot of people can relate to that. Cancer seems to be pretty prevalent. I lost my father to cancer 3 years ago. And that's something that it changes your whole perspective, going from selfish to selfless. And it gives you a whole nother reason. That 15 extra minutes doesn't seem so hard anymore because it is for someone else. So to shift gears, I don't want you crying on here because, a lot of times we do. And, then everybody makes fun of a bunch of guys crying on a podcast. So
the last 2 or 3 weeks has been some tearjerkers.
Yeah. And so we've got to keep it light, right? So we'll relighten the load after that heaviness. But tell us what you do, Ryan, for a living besides the gym.
Personal trainer. I basically live here. I told Sean, man, he got to file me on his taxes because I'm here like 9-10 hours a day. If I'm not working, I'm getting somebody else ready. I have 2 competitors getting ready for the Louisiana Championship, so they coming to win.
Very cool.
I expect nothing less.
Well,
I like it.
Awesome, man. We're looking forward to them. We go back a couple of things. Posing at the Louisiana State Championships, man. I got to judge you in Vegas, and it was kind of no brainer for me, being director of Louisiana also. And the show, I was like, man, because your posing was great. You were hitting the classic poses, man, and just like Matt said, the great lines of a classic bodybuilder. So, so I was like, man, I want to bring a little something extra this year. So, and I got to bring a Louisiana boy. And then when I seen you posing, it snapped. I was like, he gets his pro card, he's coming to Louisiana State Championships to pose. So, what is there like some little give me a little insight of something. What you gonna do on stage? Those 3 minutes.
I take pride in posing, and I tell others that posing is just as important as working out.
Absolutely.
Because you can have a grade A physique, but if you don't know how to, showcase it, what does it work when you get on stage?
That's correct.
So
I mean, we even have a category. We even have a category when we judge you basically on your presentation and posing. So.
Right. I think honestly, I spend more time posing than anything else. If I'm not here posing, any mirror I walk past, I could be in Walmart. If I walk past the mirror, I'm gonna tear that mirror up.
You're gonna win the Walmart Friday special.
Yeah. I'm not gonna let nobody beat me. It's this guy next to me. Come on, let's get it. I'm gonna get him. But for the 3 minutes, I'm treating this like I'm preparing for a show. So I'm not just coming out there and just pulling out some poses. I have a 3 minute routine that I put together for the show.
Awesome.
The song I chose, the original song I chose, I ended up junking it once I saw this show. It was a movie on Netflix. I think it's called The Old Gods or The Old Guards. But it's a scene where it's an action movie, and this lady's like jumping from 3 stories down in slow motion. And when I heard the music, I was in my living room and I just got up and started posing. And my wife was like, "What are you doing?" Download this song.
All right.
I'm posing to this in the beginning of October.
Just let you know, because you said that, I'm going to have you sign a waiver now. So I don't want you jumping from the top of the stage or something. So, but
I'm not going to jump from nowhere.
No, yeah, I appreciate you, taking that opportunity to do that, man. And like I said, I know everybody's in for a treat because I got to judge you and see you pose. So, I appreciate that. And it was also, when I knew that you were doing Matt's show, I knew you'd be in shape because we'll be Matt, 3 weeks out, I believe, something like that from your show. So
it's the 3rd to the 24th, so 21 days, exactly 3 weeks.
So he'll be in great shape also, I look forward to seeing that. And I know it's going to be entertaining. So.
Hey, Ryan, go ahead and touch on this because I've heard through the grapevine that because a lot of people, especially bodybuilders, when they pose, it takes a lot of effort, and that helps with conditioning and bringing out the detail, and serratus and obliques and just that little fine detail and striations in the glutes. For new competitors, what would you say, a good amount of posing would be? Can you pose too much, and how much minimum should you do it if you were to give a guideline?
I would say you never can pose too much. One of my key things is keeping your breathing under control. So one of my secrets, I wasn't going to share it, but I'm going to share it. So what I do is when I'm in here by myself, I pose with this on my face. It's a training mask. And so it's like, it helps with your breathing. It corrects your breathing. And it makes it like you have different settings where you can go from 9,000 feet to like 20,000 feet where the air is like real thin. So I feel like if I can run through poses with this mask on, once I take it off, I can hold a vacuum for 12 seconds and they don't know if I'm breathing or not, but I look good. And I'm not like this. And, the worst thing that could happen is when you're on stage and you go to panic and then you just let that out.
And I find that's becoming more of an old school thing is the posing leading up to a show, because man, we used to get in the garage and turn the dryer on and we didn't finish posing until there was a puddle. And then get to where we were holding a pose for a minute to 2 minutes at a time. And because you like you said, posing's everything. It's also a different conditioning level because there's a huge difference between this and this, and that comes from conditioning that muscle to be able to hold it that long because you're dehydrated, man. You're there's all kinds of stuff going on, and if you get up there and show that you have not been doing those little things, it stands out really bad.
Yeah.
So
your body will tell on itself.
And it absolutely, Matt, it absolutely does add a lot more crispness to your physique doing that. So
it's interesting because
the bigger you are, the harder that is because you're flexing everything. So that's a lot of oxygen your muscles are or going through, and it's hard, man. So everybody out there, get in there and pose, man. Pose.
And one of the things, especially with bodybuilders, is they say start at the toes, move up to the legs, make sure your legs are set, and then going through your abs, keeping your abs in tight, and breathing through your diaphragm. That's something that's really important, especially in those things. So as people end up doing these things, they get better at it. So I know you didn't want to give your secrets away, and we won't make you give any more, Ryan. But I got to tell you, it's going to be interesting to see you making your pro debut. We can't wait to see you guest pose, and we're really excited to have you on board 2020. Can't wait to see what you're going to do in 2021. So,
I'm already game planning. I actually, I was messaging Bob earlier trying to line some things up. I like to look ahead.
Yep. Well, we
I got
do
a time machine. People don't know that though.
We do too, and you have a very bright future with us. So keep doing what you're doing. We'll keep you covered up, and we have about 10 weeks left. So. Really looking forward to seeing you here live very soon.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Well, I know we need to have more time with this guy too, so we're going to probably bring you back on very soon to see that. But Ryan, thank you so much, and we will look forward to contacting and just getting a chance to catch up. As New Orleans, you represent very well, so we will see you soon, my friend.
Man. All right, yo, guys, take it easy.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks so much. We have Mr. Kable. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you perfect. Can you see me?
Man. That is so much better than last night. We wanted to do a test run to make sure that we could get this. And I got to tell you that I'm really excited to, first of all, talk to you and more excited to see you next year, or I would say in about 10 weeks, as I know that you're prepping. You're coming up. You're coming over to Texas. And
yes, sir.
You've got just some great things going on in your life. And I think a lot of people understand you have a big influence and a big following. What do people need to know about you? Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Because you have a very interesting one, and I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate.
Little bit about Kable is I served 4 years active duty in the Army. I was, with special operations and such. I also did bodybuilding. I also bodybuilded as a teenager at 18. Another thing, been in law enforcement for 20 years, SWAT operator. So got into men's physique 2 years ago and loving it ever since. So
you've been SWAT for 20 years or just PD right now?
PD for 20 years, SWAT since 2008.
Very cool. Well, first of all, we thank you for your service because, living the military life, a lot of people who follow you on Instagram, you have a very large following on Instagram, especially here in Texas. They always see you at the range and blowing up stuff and doing the best stuff possible. So, and one thing that I will say is, Ryan, we will get your Instagram out, which is True Blue Orleans. And that's at the Instagram. I always make sure, and for you, Kable, where can they follow you on Instagram? We'll go ahead and get that out of the way now.
You guys can follow me at Kable with a K _official.
Okay.
And guys, feel free, DM me. I do my best to answer all the questions. I also do live feeds as well. So keep in touch. I'm all about, connecting with the followers.
Cool. Can we dig into your Army stint for a little bit for 4 years? Did you do any active
duty? Go ahead,
duty?
man. Ask
Good. Well, give us the details about the highlights as far as what you had going on in those 4 years. What were some of the challenges and highlights?
Ranger School. Ranger School was the hardest challenge. Just, deploying, stuff like that, even though it was many moons ago. But I come from my background. My father was military intelligence, and my brother was mechanized infantry. So I ended up, when I graduated, I needed a job. I wasn't going to do college at the time, so I went to the military and ended up loving it, loving what I do, the camaraderie for my country, everything. So yeah, I don't regret it. It helped open the doors for police work. But yeah, Ranger School was probably my toughest challenge, but helped me mentally prepare for future things, especially in police work and life.
And I know that that's going to come around in the next question. Where did you deploy to, if you don't mind me asking, and how did Ranger School help you with that?
I did a lot of in active duty. Remember, I was back in the 90s. It was called snow camp operation with other government agencies. Put it that way.
Got it.
I was doing that.
I know it's probably a little bit classified and top secret, so
Can't really elaborate on it.
can't really go into detail.
But yeah,
he doesn't even
did
really
some fun
exist.
stuff in Colombia. Fighting the drug war, So, and then I actually went in when I became a police officer. Then 9/11 hit, and in 2003 I went National Guard, and with there, that's where I deployed to Afghanistan.
Got it. And how long were you over there for?
I did a year. I did a year stint in Afghanistan.
A year. Got it. Now, are you originally from Florida?
No, believe it or not, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and then brought down here when I was 5 years old, raised down here in MIA, and I would visit New York occasionally, with my family, and then my father passed when I was 10. At that point, we stopped going to New York, visiting, and just stood in Miami, with the family that we have here.
Got it. So you're originally from New York. You came to Florida.
Sorry, I had to do
down the
this
Miami
interview
area?
in the car, guys, but I got some loud kids in the house, so it's worked out better being in the car.
We all understand, bro.
It's all good, and that's exactly where we like to be too. Surprised we're not.
I can't hear you guys. You guys are. I can't hear.
Let's see here. Let's see if we can fix that up. Just let me know when you can hear.
Say
Is that better? No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Perfect. All right. I knew something was going to happen on our end, but
Hello.
Can you hear us now?
We are experiencing technical difficulties.
All right. So I'm gonna mime this out. So you're gonna fly to Houston for a show. Can you hear me?
No,
Now I can't. I hear you loud and clear.
Tell us about your prep, because you have a show coming up.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Can you tell us about your prep that you're in right now for your show?
Oh, okay. It's the first 6-week prep I've ever done. Coach wanted it because it's a pro debut. He wanted us to cruise into it, hold as much size as possible, which the way it looks, I'm going to come in 10 pounds heavier than when I turned pro in October last year.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. What was it like turning pro? You turned pro in the Florida show. Go ahead.
Happy?
You turned pro at the Gator Classic last year in Florida. How did that feel? Did you expect to turn pro? I mean, how did that prep go for you as opposed to the prep that you're doing now? What have you learned?
Learned a lot, especially kind of like from your previous interview, I was just watching conditioning. Condition is key. Holding the poses. I started doing my posing, practicing the pose in about 4 weeks prior to the competition, which helped me. The other thing was it's totally different than the NPC. And I like it a lot. I like GBO actually you have more time on stage to showcase yourself.
Right.
And I do feel that GBO is more towards for the athlete, which is another reason why I'm grateful to be part of the organization.
Very cool. What are some of your plans? You're going to be doing the Storm Classic. What are some of your 2021 plans? Have you thought that far ahead?
Technical difficulties.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
So write it down.
I'm blaming Miami. I'm going to blame Miami on this one. It's definitely not going to be you guys.
Got it. No, it's all good. And let me know when you can hear me loud and clear. I'm going to write this question down. Can you hear me yet? 2021. And I hope this doesn't come out backwards.
I'm going to try the walk around method out here and give all the viewer tour and everything.
Right.
Let me see if I can hear you better. It's good.
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
This is what we're reduced to.
I can't even see. Let me see that. What do you? My plans. Okay. Yeah, I like the way you adapted overcome. That was awesome.
High budget here, bro.
My plans are basically just to I want to do definitely the Atlas next year, and as many shows as possible, but put more size on, and who knows, maybe if coach decides, maybe cross over to classic physique, who knows?
So, hey, who is
It all
your coach?
depends. I'm like,
Can you hear?
say again. I'm sorry.
Who is your coach?
Oh my God, this is really.
It's Sam at Pro Body Tech.
My coach is the Lion, Sam.
Okay.
Yeah, Pro Body Tech. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
I'm sorry. Like you said it so bad here, and I apologize.
No,
it's all good.
It's all good. I got my next question too, so I'll just put that right up
to
here.
this all day. I mean,
Can you read that?
So athletes that inspire you. Okay. Athletes that inspire me. Okay. Well, I love Frank Zane, his shape. Barry DeMay. I like that 90s, 80s, 90s era bodybuilding. That look was just phenomenal for me. Men's physique wise, I do like Lucky Libra Ferguson, my BB. Chase Savoy, but it's about it right there. I try to, try not to look and compare to other athletes. The one I'm focused on right now, and if he's watching, I'm focused on the champ from your past show. That's the one I'm worried about. That's the one I'm going after. Because you know how it is. It's the champ show. He's the one that needs to be dethroned.
Yeah. He must be talking about that guy.
So that's the goal.
I think he might be talking about Tyrol.
Oh, Ty? Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
one your show. Oh, I got you.
Now the Atlas, we know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
So the next question.
I'm glad it's.
Oh.
What is your affiliate? Ah, okay. Oh man, you're killing me. My affiliation with them is I'm a sponsored athlete. I'm actually one of their athletes with 5%.
Very cool.
The director of marketing actually reached out to me, which I was shocked, and he wanted a police officer to represent their brand. And he said I'd be a good fit. We reached out, negotiated a great deal. They're very supportive in a lot of aspects. And so I am a 5%er. Thank God.
Very cool.
So.
Nice. It sounds like you can hear us now.
And they're a great company also. I hear you a little bit. You're not breaking up.
Got it. Well, I can tell you that, we covered essentially everything that we wanted to cover. And, I got to tell you, we're looking forward to seeing you, first of all, and having you at the show. I know you're kind of reading lips right now. But, other than that, I mean, the fact is we know how to follow you. We know that your background is really military, and we can't thank you enough for your service as a police officer, as SWAT. Serving in the military.
Thank you, man, on that. And again, I want to apologize for the bad transmission, bad communication.
All good, my friend. Well, thank you for being on, and we will see you live. And I think the word is out that you're coming, man. So other than that,
I can't hear you. Oh,
it's all good.
It's all good.
Take
Thank
care.
you, Kable.
We gotta
We'll
do
be
this
back
again.
in touch.
We gotta do this again.
We will.
Yes,
I blame
sir.
my phone. I'm sorry, guys.
Yes, sir.
And those guys that are following, I'm sorry.
Hey, be good. Safe travels.
Thank you.
All right. So we've got, we had, I love the curveballs because, you do have to get creative sometimes.
Curveball. It's like Randy Johnson was on the mound tonight. Jesus.
Man, I tell you. And it's really fun because a lot of times things don't go as planned. And that's one of the great things about this is the true test of warriors and athletes I think we can see that, with Ryan having people moving stuff in his office, in the posing room, and, doing sign language if we have to do, notes.
Kind of another technical difficulty we're having right now. We might as well go ahead and say, we had to shut down ticket sales for the Legacy last night. Todd went ahead and shut that down because he's reached maximum capacity there. To let everybody know, we were trying to tell you guys these shows are going to sell out, and because of the COVID, we're having to make adjustments, and that's part of it. So we will. Todd is he is sure that they're going to allow eventually some more tickets to be sold. So we're hoping and waiting for that, and as soon as they are available, we will be announcing that. So you are going to have to jump on it when that does happen. So. Unfortunately, that's part of the problem. So, a curveball just like this was today. So, just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. So, for the GBO Legacy there in Houston, TBC Center, there are no more tickets being sold for that venue at this moment. So, when more available, we will let you know.
Yes, and that's a very positive thing. Same thing for the Storm Classic. We have 12 tickets left in the block, and then we're going to have to shut it down. So, a flood of tickets came in. And that'll be, a really great thing to see that our venues are filling up.
Right.
And, it's a really good thing to have because it's showing that we're doing the right thing. So, as we move forward, we will be making more announcements for each show, as the rest of the 3 shows for this year. But I know that Cruz, you and I will be making probably some major announcements right after our show, October 24th, where we're going to really unload the 2021 calendar as we unroll that. There's going to be so many things that we'll try and keep you at least as updated as we can. Right. And just to finish up, what are you excited about, Cruz? What is what's the one thing that you're really looking forward to on how to wrap this year up?
Man, to be honest with you, basically the comeback. I mean, because I think that at some point, we all thought that this year was dead in the water. But I think we're going to finish crazy strong with these 3 shows: GBO Legacy in Houston, Louisiana State Championships there in Sulphur, and then of course the Storm Classic in Texas City. We're getting, and I'm very excited about how much reaction and how many people are signing up and talking about these shows and all that. So I mean, we're going to finish very strong, and I think that is a huge deal, especially for where. GBO is at in its 5th year. I mean, it's something that I think, to be honest with you, maybe any other organization might have finished not so strong, and we're gaining strength, and we're going to finish strong with these 3 shows, and then I think that's going to even catapult us into next year, man. So, and like you said, I know you've got some stuff lined up. I've got some stuff between Texas and Louisiana lined up. That we're going to announce probably early November, something like that. And then it's going to be, it's going to really suck, that point between November and December and all that, where we don't have a show till like March. That's going to be horrible because we're going to be foaming at the mouth for those new shows, man.
Well, what's interesting is we're going to need that time to get everything set up. So when we do unroll everything,
that too,
it's going to be, and we'll keep a lot of this secret for right now because, not everything is inked. But more importantly, we got to keep it in suspense because if we tell everything, that's no fun. And, I like it when people ask questions when there's a little mystery. So, I thought, I'm really looking forward to Ryan being on stage, for Chris coming over from Florida. Really just the guests that we're going to be having these next few weeks are really going to be honed in on really the second half of the year and probably are active in some way. So as we get our glitches taken care of and moving into a smoother roll, we will talk to you guys next Friday. Of course, same time, same place, and hopefully we'll be live instead of just doing a recording. So, Until then, we will talk then.